in the heart of Freetown, where the Atlantic Ocean touches the edge of crowded hills and zinc roof houses shine under the morning sun. Two stepsisters lived under one roof. But that house was not a place of equal love. It was a place where destiny was quietly being separated day by day. Mariama and Hawa were the same age, but their lives were not the same. Mariama was the stepdaughter, quiet, observant, always working, often invisible. Hawa was the biological daughter, loud, beautiful, spoiled, always praised. And in that house, love had rules that no child chose. Every morning began the same way. Before the sun even rose, Mariama was already awake. She stepped into the cold yard barefoot, carrying a bucket larger than her strength. She fetched water from far away, swept the compound until her arms ached, and prepared the house before anyone else opened their eyes. Not because she was asked to, but because she knew if she did not do it, no one would. Meanwhile, inside the house, Hawa slept peacefully under a clean sheet, her phone charging beside her bed, music quietly playing from late-night conversations and laughter she had long forgotten. Two girls, same roof, two worlds. One morning, as Mariama was washing dishes outside, Hawa's voice cut through the air like it owned the house. "Mariama, come iron my uniform. I am going out." Mariama paused, wiped her hands on her wrapper, and replied softly, "I am still working outside." Hawa walked to the doorway, leaning against it with a lazy smile. "You are always working. Do you not ever get tired of suffering?" Mariama did not answer immediately. She simply lowered her eyes and continued washing. Because she had learned something early in life, arguing did not change her reality. Only effort did. Inside the house, Auntie Sia, their mother, watched everything silently. But she never corrected Hawa. In fact, she smiled when Hawa demanded things, and she frowned when Mariama rested. In that home, kindness was not shared equally. Food was not shared equally. Even silence was not shared equally. Mariama learned early that love, in her house, was not given freely. It was assigned. As days turned into months, a pattern formed. Hawa spent her afternoons outside, laughing with friends, taking photos, talking about fashion, and dreaming of a life where she would never struggle. "I will marry rich," she would say confidently. "Why should I suffer when life is meant to be enjoyed?" Her friends agreed. Her mother agreed. No one corrected her. But Mariama watched quietly. Because she had learned something different. Life does not reward wishes. It rewards preparation. At night, when the house finally became quiet, Mariama's real life began. She sat under a small flickering candle, opening worn schoolbooks with torn pages and folded corners. Her handwriting was neat, because she had learned that even small things must be done well. Sometimes her eyes would burn from exhaustion. Sometimes her stomach would ache from hunger. But she kept going, because in her mind, she was building something no one could take away. A future. One night, Hawa walked past Mariama's room and stopped at the door. She saw her studying, and she laughed softly. "You are still doing that. Schoolwork at night like a slave." Mariama did not look up. "I want a better life." Hawa shook her head. "Life is already good if you enjoy it. Do you think books will save you?" Mariama finally looked at her and answered calmly, "They might." That was the first time silence between them felt heavy. Years passed quietly. No one noticed Mariama growing stronger. No one noticed her saving small amounts of money from odd jobs she did after school, selling small things, helping neighbors, doing anything she could without asking for help. Every coin she saved was folded carefully and hidden, not because she trusted people, but because she trusted her future. Meanwhile, Hawa grew more comfortable. She became known in her circle for her beauty, her confidence, and her lifestyle, but also for something she never noticed: lack of discipline. She did not finish tasks she started. She avoided responsibility. She depended on others for things she never learned to do herself. Still, she never worried, because nothing had forced her to. Then came the season that changed everything. The sky over Freetown began to shift. At first, it was just clouds, thick and heavy, then wind, then rain. But soon it became something else entirely. A storm that did not stop. Night after night, rain poured across the city. The streets filled with water. Markets struggled. Small businesses collapsed. People lost income. Homes became weak against the flood. And inside their house, tension began to rise. Auntie Sia became anxious for the first time. Hawa became restless. The comfort she had always known started slipping away. One morning, she woke up to shouting outside. The market was gone, completely destroyed. Panic entered the house like a stranger. "What are we going to do now?" Hawa asked, her voice shaking for the first time in her life. Auntie Sia paced the room. "We have nothing left for the first time." Their confidence had no foundation. And Mariama, she said nothing. She simply listened. That night, when everything felt broken, Mariama quietly stood up. She walked to her bed, moved the loose wooden plank underneath, and pulled out a small metal tin box. Inside were folded notes, small savings, quiet sacrifices, not enough to fix everything, but enough to survive. Auntie Sia froze. Hawa stared in disbelief. "Where did you get that money?" Auntie Sia asked sharply. Mariama answered without pride, without emotion. "I worked for it, little by little, and I saved it." Silence filled the room, because in that moment, something uncomfortable became clear. The girl they ignored had been preparing, while the other lived freely. She had been building stability quietly. Hawa stepped closer, her voice lower now. "When did you start doing all this?" Mariama looked at her sister, not with anger, not with pride, but with truth. "I did not start one day. I started every time you chose not to think about tomorrow." That sentence stayed in the air longer than any sound in the house, because it was not just about money. It was about life, about choices, about consequences no one saw coming. For the first time, Hawa felt something unfamiliar rise in her chest. Not anger, not laughter, not confidence, fear, because she suddenly realized something terrifying. She had never prepared for anything, and Mariama had been preparing for everything. That night, the house did not sleep, but only one girl had a plan, and only one girl was ready for what came next. And somewhere deep inside that broken home, jealousy began to grow, quiet, invisible, dangerous, because the future had finally arrived, and it was asking who deserved to survive it. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more.